Okay, so today that we're going to make some Florentines from the Food Network. It's a great little cookie, but it takes an awful lot of time and effort to make. So we'll walk you through the process slow and easy here as we make the Florentines. Okay, everybody knows how to zest an orange. The first step in the process of making Florentines, you've got to zest a whole orange here and put the droppings into a little bowl. Okay, you can turn it off. You can turn it off.
I wanted them to see the...
Okay, as you can see, we zested our orange here. That's in the bowl. This is a Florida navel orange here. We've got that in the bowl so far. Now we move on to the next step. We need to add a little bit of flour and we need to add some almonds. Okay, next I've added 2 tablespoons, probably about 2.5 tablespoons of flour to the orange zest. And then next we're going to chop up 2 cups of slivered almonds into little pieces. Using this hammer here, we'll just bang these little suckers up into some smaller pieces. Just get them into little pieces like you can see here. Just chop them up. A little hammer will do it. Okay, so now I've got the 2 cups of chopped slivered almonds in there with the about 2.5 tablespoons of flour and the orange zest on the bottom. We're just going to stir it up a little bit and then continue on with the next phase. Okay, now we have the almonds and the flour and the orange zest all stirred up. We're going to move on to the stove here now. Okay, next we start out with a stick of butter cut up into little pieces, and then we'll add some sugar and honey. Okay, to the butter we've added 3/4 cup of sugar, white sugar, and 2 tablespoons of honey. And now we're going to bring this thing to a boil, and we'll show you what it's supposed to look like when it reaches a boil over medium heat. You can see how this is melting up a little bit here as I stir. You just keep stirring and stirring until it comes to a boil. It'll take a while for the butter to melt and the sugar to dissolve, but once it does, then you'll be able to see it come to a nice boil. Okay, the mixture is getting there. You can see that everything is dissolved, but we still don't have a boil yet, so we're just going to keep stirring a little bit here until we get a boil. See it starting, you can see it starting to boil now, but we're going to get it just a little bit more boiling here before we take it off. Okay, you can see it's boiling pretty good over the whole thing now. It's going to let it go about 2 more seconds, and then we'll pour it into the mixture. We'll pour this mixture in with the almonds and zest and flour. Okay, you got it, is it on? Mm-hmm. Okay, we're just going to pour it right in on top of the almonds and the zest and the flour. Try to get it all in there. Okay, it's in there. Stop it. Cat, you see it in there? Okay, now we're just going to stir this in. Mix that sugar and cream and honey mixture in with the almonds till we get it all mixed up really good. It's a little tough to stir here, but you can get it all in there. Get that mixture all in with everything. It's really hot. So what we have to do now, like my Uncle Carl Whittam used to say, we're just going to take a little break, and for about 20 minutes to 30 minutes it's going to sit in the refrigerator or outside. It's 15 degrees out here tonight, so we're just going to put it outside for about 20 minutes to a half hour to let it cool down And while it's cooling down, about every 10 minutes we'll go out and stir it to make sure that the heat gets out of the middle here and we get the whole thing cool, because we want it to be really cool before we start to bake it. So that's about all there is. Okay, while the mixture is cooling, you need to bring out some racks like this, some cookie racks or cake racks, whatever they are here, a little elevated from the ground, and set out a bunch of paper towels, because the cookies are going to get just a little bit buttery with all that butter that's in there. And then at the same time you need some parchment paper. The recipe says to use a new sheet of parchment paper each time, but I only use 2 sheets. I only have one baking dish, or baking, whatever you call this thing, rack here. And so I just use 2 of them, and it seems to work. That you can use them over and over again. It's fine. But you just need 2 of these, so when you have one in the oven, you can have another one ready to go, and then it cools a little bit, and then you put the other one in. So you need 2 things with parchment paper on it on a baking tray here. Okay, the mixture has been out in the garage for about 10 minutes. I went out there and I just gave it a good stir. We've got about 20 more minutes to go until that really cools down. And this would be a good time to pour yourself a cold one. That's what my Uncle Carl said when he would cut his grass. I asked him how big his yard was, and he said, it takes me about a 6-pack of beer to cut the grass. So it takes me about 4 beers, I think, to make these from start to finish. Okay, the mixture has sat out in the garage for about a half hour, and you can see it is really much thicker now than it was before when it was warm. So as soon as the oven heats up to 350, we'll start putting them in and having some fun here. Okay, while we're waiting for the oven to warm up a little bit, we'll start putting the cookies out on the thing. The recipe says to make these things 2 teaspoons a piece, but we don't want to do that because they just spread out really far. We just want to make them 1 teaspoon, and you'll see here we just make them a little bit because they are really going to spread out. Just put a few of them on here. Now, they're really sticky, so you've got to get them on here. Should have done it in a more uniform manner here, but this will work for the first batch here. Right, that should do it. Now the recipe says to pat the things down a little bit. I kind of like to use my own little saliva to pat them down, but my wife of 35 years would prefer me to use a little bit of water here instead of saliva. I like to give it my own little flavor, but we'll just pat these little suckers down, get them flattened out. When the camera isn't on, I may go back to using
better not
my mouth here, because this stuff is so delicious even before it's cooked. We'll get them up here. Now they look really small, but you'll see that they spread out really fast, and they're so thin and delicate that do that. Okay, so there we have them. We have the first batch here, and while these are flattening out, I'm going to put another batch here, and when the oven is up to the right range, we'll put them in and we'll show you what they're supposed to look like when they're done. Okay, as you can see, we just put the cookies in. Everything's going good here now, and we'll just wait about 5 or 6 minutes and you'll see what happens to them. Okay, while the first batch is in the oven, put another batch together on the second sheet of parchment paper we have here, and you can see probably got those things a little bit too close. It doesn't look like that, but you'll see how they spread out. They really spread out, and I think I'm going to stick to just 6 sheet here because I don't like breaking them apart when they all stick together. First batch is doing okay, and we'll have them out in a second or two. Here we are about halfway through the cooking, and you can see how they really spread out, and they're just really delicate there as we're waiting for them to brown up just a little bit more. Okay, 5 minutes are up, and you can see what they look like. They're getting done, but they're just bubbling and bubbling and bubbling, so we'll let them go just a little bit longer here. When?
His mother has a tattoo that reads, son.
Okay, this is what they look like when they're done. You can see the crispy brown, but this pan is awfully hot. Woo! So bring it over here, and then we'll just slide them off onto the cooling racks. Wow, that thing is really hot. And when you see, they'll just sit here for a while and really cool down, and then they'll just slide right off the parchment paper, and we can put them over here on the paper towels when that's finished. Boy, they are really, this thing is really hot. I think we need the other,
I think I saw it a lot from Philadelphia standpoint, Joe. I think Pittsburgh made the offense. I thought.
All right.
Here goes the second one into the oven.
Second one's about to go in the oven here. We've already loaded up. Put in here for about 6 or 7 minutes. Keep an eye on it the whole time. And wait about 3 minutes for these to cool down. And then we'll slide them off onto the the paper towels. They look absolutely perfect now. They are so delicate though. You think that they're going to break as soon as you take them apart, but they won't. They'll be fine as soon as they cool down a little bit. All right, the next thing you do is carefully, after they've been on here for about 3 or 4 minutes, just carefully remove them. They just peel right off when they're cold, and put them down on the paper towels so it soaks up a little bit of the butter that is underneath of them there. And we'll just do this until we get them all off. Just be really careful because they're just so delicate. Okay, the second batch I may have left in just a hair too long. As you can see, they're just a little bit darker than the other ones. Now that the oven is warmed up, I'm going to go back to 5 minutes instead of the 6 minutes that I had those in. But these are still going to be delicious. I also did not space these too well. You can see I have 7 on here, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, I should have 6. The next batch that is in the oven just has 6. And that way you don't get the 2 of them, or 3 in the middle there that are sticking together. But they break just so gently, but I'd rather have just round sides on these. See, that's a lot better with just 6 of them on the paper and tray instead of 7. 7 gets a little bit too close and they stick together, but 6 is just perfect there. Okay, while we continue to cook the cookies and take them out about every 5 minutes, we're going to start the milk chocolate, whatever you call those, Hershey Marshalls, whatever they are, in there with a little bit of cream, the heavy cream that we didn't use. And we'll stir that up, put some heat on that, stir it up, and then we'll start spreading those in the middle of those cookies, and that's what gives its tremendous flavor. So we'll just let this melt a little bit here, and then we'll start spreading them in the middle. Okay, the chocolate morsels, whatever they're called, are starting to dissolve here in the mixture with a little bit of cream on a double boiler or a Dutch boiler or whatever they call that thing, with a little bit of water in the bottom there. And we'll just wait till these things all melt, and then we'll start spreading them in the middle of the cookies. Okay, we have this, I had to put a little bit more cream in here with the milk chocolate morsels here, but we've got it mixed up pretty good now, and we'll just wait and start spreading it between the two cookies. Okay, the next step, we take a little bit of chocolate that's been mixed with some cream there. We spread that over the inside of a cookie, and then we put another one on top, squeeze it gently together, and lay it down. We'll do that one more time here. Find two that are sort of the same size. Here's one. Spread the chocolate in the middle. It's a little hot sometimes, and then you put the cookie together very gently, and then put it over and let it cool down. And we keep doing that until we're done. We have the last batch in the oven now. Looks like we're going to need some more chocolate here. In here, we'll put this chocolate in here with and then find one that matches that, close to matches that one, and squeeze it together so chocolate comes out of both sides, and we put it down there.